So, a federal judge in Pennsylvania has ruled that the Alien Enemies Act may be used to deport suspected Trinidad Agua gang members. However, there are some caveats here. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a federal judge in Pennsylvania appointed by President Donald Trump, ruling that the administration may use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport some suspected Trinidad Agua gang members back to Venezuela or maybe somewhere else, maybe El Salvador. I don't really know. But this law may be used to deport them. Now, there's some caveats. It's not quite cut and dry as I would like for it to be, but I'll take it as a victory. I most certainly do. You know, the media talking about, oh, well, you can't use that. It's from 1798. It's ancient. Nobody does that anymore. Well, look, there are plenty of laws on the books that are old laws. Okay, I don't know, the Constitution, I think that was written before 1798, and we use that every single day. So why can't we use the Alien Enemies Act? And these are alien enemies. They're here illegally. They're gang members. They're committing crime. They are compromising the security of our nation. So why must we have them here? Why must they go through all this rigmarole to be able to stay here while they wreak havoc on our streets? To me, it doesn't make any sense. And before I go any further, let's get to the news clip. Of course, if you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A federal judge in Pennsylvania ruled in favor of the Trump administration Tuesday over its use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport some Venezuelan migrants. Trump-appointed Judge Stephanie Haynes said the president may use the 18th century wartime law to remove Venezuelans older than 14.
Let's pause for a second. Now, let's read what's on the screen here. So it says, so long as the government provides sufficient notice and due process. They're going to that due process. Oh, they love that. They love that whole due process thing. Okay, we got criminal aliens who shouldn't be here, but we got to give them the due process and treat them like babies. But anyway, let's start from the top. So long as the government provides sufficient notice and due process, may the president issue a proclamation pursuant to the AEA directing the removal of Venezuelan citizens, etc. Let's keep going.
Who are accused Trinidad Agua gang members, but with a caveat. She ruled the administration must give 21 days notice to potential deportees if it invokes the act, rather than the 12 to 24 hours it had been given.
Now, I don't like that part. You got to give them, what is it, 21 days notice rather than the 12 to 24 hours? So my question would be, when must the notice be given? Before a raid is done? If you tip them off, it's like, okay, we know where you are and we're going to come get you. You got 3 weeks. At that time, they could go ahead and try to hide somewhere. They can move around. They could commit more acts of violence and terror and whatnot as gang members in that 3-week period of time. Or it could be like this. You could go ahead and detain them, have them in custody, and then after they're detained, they say, hey, you know what? We're going to deport you in 3 weeks because of the Alien Enemies Act. If that is what they're doing, it makes a little bit more sense, I suppose. But to give them a tip off, like, hey, we're coming to get you. You got 3 weeks. To me, that's just crazy because, of course, they're going to try to flee, and it defeats the purpose of using the Alien Enemies Act. The whole point is to get them and get them up out of the country immediately, not get them all this time to get their affairs in order.
Earlier this month, federal judges in New York, Colorado, and Texas ruled against the Trump administration's use of the act. They said the move is illegal because the government hasn't provided sufficient evidence of an invasion or predatory incursion required under the law.
Okay, let's go back. Okay, we need evidence, right? Hold on.
Of an invasion or predatory.
We need evidence, right? So these gang tattoos, the fact that a lot of these guys, you can see their faces on social media. They're known to be gang members in their country of origin. That's not evidence enough, I suppose, right? Let's keep going.
Incursion required under the law. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez joins us now. So the judge here in this case, Judge Haynes, found that the gang Tren de Aragua is committing a, quote, predatory incursion into the U.S. We mentioned other judges disagree with this. So where does she differ with these judges and what happens next?
Well, this is the first time that a federal judge, Lindsay, has found that the Trump administration had reasonable and sufficient legal grounds to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to arrest, detain, and deport suspected members of Tren de Aragua. That is that Venezuelan prison gang. And the administration has been making this extraordinary argument in court that
they're so funny on the main. Do you see this? Look at this. You know, I pick up on little things like this. You see how it was written in the old timey looking text. You know, it's like, okay, so they're trying to say, oh, this is an old law. They're bringing it back from the dead. Nobody forces that anymore. These people are so funny. But anyway, let's keep on going.
Making this extraordinary argument in court that,
and they got to be at least 14 years old.
This transnational gang has been orchestrating an invasion or an incursion into the country. She said that, yes, this gang is, in her view, orchestrating an incursion into the country, and she mainly relied on the fact that the State Department has designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist group. And so she relied on that determination to find that this is an incursion by this gang and that the Trump administration can actually invoke this law to target them and to arrest and deport suspected members of this organization. But this ruling does not apply nationwide, and it does not allow the administration to continue using this law to deport people across the country.
Is it only her district?
Yes, in the Western District of Pennsylvania. And ultimately, this case will be decided by the Supreme Court, which is...
So is it only in her district where the actual ruling is allowed? That doesn't make any sense. Of course, it's going to be a continuous court battle. That's what the left does. They are very litigious. They bring you to court and try to draw things out for a very long time. And the ultimate goal, in my humble opinion, with the whole court action is to keep the illegal aliens here for as long as possible. It doesn't matter if they are working in the field or if they are working the block, serving drugs, guns, humans, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They want to keep all the migrants here for as long as possible. Let's keep going.
Weighing this very same question. How much due process do people process under this law get? And whether the administration has satisfied the necessary legal requirements to invoke it in the first place.
On Tuesday, authorities in Dalton, Georgia, dropped traffic charges against Jimena Arias Cristobal. This is a 19-year-old Mexican-born college student arrested during a traffic stop last month, taken into ICE custody. You actually spoke with her. What did she tell you, and what should we know about her case?
Let's pause for a second. Now, I live not too far from here. That's like maybe like 20, 30 minutes away, Dalton, Georgia. And everybody knows Dalton is pretty much Mexico. That's just what it is. There's a large community of them right there in that particular area. And that's just, you know, you got some people who are here legally, some who are here illegally. So that's just what they're known for in that particular part of the country. But let's keep going.
Well, she's still detained in ICE custody in Georgia. And she told me that she's not a criminal, that she should not be detained by ICE because she noted that the president has been talking about going after hard criminals and dangerous individuals who happen to be in the country illegally, not teenagers.
Now, okay, a little bit of background about her, if they don't say it. What happened was she was driving, she was driving a truck, like a regular F-350, F-150, whatever it was. And she was pulled over mistakenly because they thought that her truck was a different truck. Anyway, she gets pulled over. She has no U.S. driver's license. She has an international driver's license, but no U.S. driver's license. And I don't think she had any insurance. Okay, so that's what that was. And ultimately, she's not here legally. That's the bottom line. Now, people get deported like this all the time, every day. And it was going on before Trump, and it'll be happening after Trump. But because of the heightened attention to the illegal aliens and the mass deportation, she may be used as an example of, hey, I'm just a regular girl. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to school, all this, that, and the third. They may try to hitch their wagons to her rather than a guy like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who is obviously a gang member involved in criminal activity.
Who are undocumented but are otherwise law-abiding residents of their communities. And she said that the administration should be focusing on those criminals, not people like her. despite the fact that the local authorities in that area in Georgia have dismissed the traffic violations that triggered her arrest by ICE, the Trump administration is now saying that the facts of this case have not changed from their perspective because she is being held pursuant to the fact that she is here without papers illegally, not because of the traffic violations technically. And the Department of Homeland Security told us in a statement, Lindsay, that they will continue to pursue deportation for her and her father, who is also detained in that same detention center, and that they will be returned to Mexico at some point.
Are they going to be fighting?
Now, what'll probably happen is they probably come back because Dalton, look, like I said, Dalton is known for that. That's just kind of what it is. They'll probably come back. But I don't think anyone should feel sorry for the young lady or her father because ultimately they're here illegally. Now, if I'm a U.S. citizen, which I am, of course, and I break the law, I get punished. Ain't nobody going to be on TV talking about, oh, no, don't lock him up. He didn't. Nah. They're going to say, you broke the law. You held accountable. As simple as that. Now, of course, we, meaning the Republicans, the right, we're going after the criminals to really pursue them, to go do raids and stuff like that. Ain't nobody going to raid her or her dad. But if you get caught doing some type of illegal activity, or you get caught in a situation where you encounter the police and your papers are not right, then what did it do? Just let you go because you appear to be a regular girl? I don't know how that really works. But yeah, that's what's going on. And I'll link again to this video in the box. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody who's here legally from their country of origin. I mean, is that so much to ask? We're not saying, hey, don't come to the United States. You're welcome to visit. You're welcome to be here as long as you are here legally, whether you're on a visa, whether you become a naturalized citizen, whatever it is, you're welcome to do things legally. But when you break the law, you got to be held accountable because if I break the law or if any of us as citizens of this country or wherever you live in Canada, China, Mexico, if you break the laws there, you're held accountable. Only in America can you break the law and be like, don't punish me. That doesn't make any sense to me. And especially the gang members, those are the worst. You want to come here and engage in criminal activity and then say, oh, no, leave me alone. Don't deport me. I'm a poor, innocent person. It makes no sense at all. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this ruling from the Pennsylvania judge? You think it's a good ruling, bad ruling, somewhere in between? How about those caveats? Should the caveats be there? 21 days notice. What are we talking about? A tip off? Hey, we're about to come get you. Go ahead, run away, commit some more crimes, try to hide from us. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Yeah, that whole notice thing is ridiculous. You should be able to go get them and deport them immediately. You are here illegally. You are part of a criminal gang. Why must we have you here? You are a danger to the security of this nation. You got to go. You got to go. And for the young lady and her dad, look, come here legally. There are plenty of Mexicans in Dalton who are here legally. I know them. They're good people. Just do things right and you won't have a problem. If you break laws, you do things improperly, you may have some problems. That's not my fault. That's your fault. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.